Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, wherever you're joining us from in the world. Thank you for choosing to pause with us today. This is not a conversation about coaching as a profession so much. This is more about a conversation of coaching as a responsibility, especially when leadership is exercised in places where pressure is high, resources are generally low, and the impact is deeply human. Across continents today, nonprofit leaders are carrying some of the heaviest burdens of humanity. They are tackling poverty, gender inequality, education gaps, climate vulnerability, mental health, and social justice, with only a fraction of resources that corporates have. Globally, 74% of nonprofit leaders report burnout. 67% lack access to leadership development, and 60% work in emotionally high stakes environments. And yet, these leaders serve the communities most affected by the UN Sustainable and Development Goals. This is where precisely Ignite becomes not just a program under the ICF Foundation banner, but indeed a global intervention. It's a movement that's powered by volunteer coaches across the world who choose to strengthen the leaders, strengthening humanity. So today we're joined by three Ignite ambassadors, each working in different regions of the world and each carrying stories that rarely make it to the headlines. And hence, this is an opportunity to hear these wonderful, deeply impacted, emotional, real stories from our speakers today. So I'd like to invite our first guest on stage. Welcome, Catalin Druskotzi.
Welcome. Thank you for the invitation, Kenneth.
Great to have you here. And it's 6 a.m. for you. So I totally appreciate the commitment and the intent with which you've come to our conversation. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Catalan, dear friends, is a leadership and a transformational team coach with over 20 years of experience in various roles within multinational companies, where she has worked with diverse cultures and clients. She is enthusiastic about empowering personal learning based on strengths and optimizing team and organizational learning simultaneously. Passionate about accelerating social impact through coaching, Catalin actively builds partnerships among different stakeholders in the business world, in the coaching profession, and in the social sector, of course. Welcome to this conversation once again, Catalin.
Happy to be here and thank you for the introduction.
I'm going to invite our next guest. That's Dawn Kim. Welcome, Dawn. How are you doing?
Thank you, Kenneth. Nice to meet you or the audience. My name is Tan Kim. I'm an ICF Foundation ambassador, and I also have been served as a committee member of local chapter for social impact.
Thank you. And just a little more about Dawn Kim. She's a leadership coach who empowers leaders to bridge the inner and outer worlds, connecting self awareness with purposeful action and personal insight with collective impact. I just love that. As an ambassador of the Inner Development Goals, that's IDG, and the ICF Foundation member, she's committed to advancing inclusive, value based leadership that contributes to a better future. She helps leaders turn personal growth into purposeful action, creating collective impact across communities and systems. Welcome once again, Dan. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for your inviting today. Thank you.
Most welcome. And finally, we have on stage Sabrina Sabo. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you, Kenneth, for having us here.
Most welcome. Sabrina Sabo, my friends, equips intercultural leaders to turn tension into transformation. As an executive coach and co founder of Change, Coaching and Leadership Development, she works with people who move daily between cultures, identities, and systems, helping them convert invisible pressure into visible change. An ICF PCC coach and PhD student in intercultural education, she focuses primarily on social impact and societal change, challenging leaders to design leadership that is built around difference. Welcome. So it's wonderful and a pleasure, and in fact a privilege for me to be sharing space with such beautiful and warm people as our guest today. So thank you once again. And just to set the context, this conversation is really not positioned for perfection, but rather it's shaped by lived experiences that all three of you have had in your space of work in the Ignite. And sometimes the most powerful moments arrive in silence, reflection, or emotion. So, to begin our conversation, I would want to start with stories because stories carry what statistics cannot. I'll ask a question, though in coaching we say don't stack a question, but I'm intentionally going to stack questions and we'll look at this as a round robin. Maybe down we could start with you and then go to Catalin and Sabrina. The question is, tell us one coaching story from your Ignite work. Though the project is done, but the story still stays with you. A story that moved you or changed the way how you see your role as a coach, as an ambassador. And we'd also love to hear through that story what were your learnings. So maybe, Down, if I may request you to begin.
Thank you, Kenneth, for this space. I've been working for Ignite Initiative for last 2 years as a project manager and as also ambassador. So in Korea chapter, we've been working with 4 organizations in gender, international development, climate action, and also the partnership area. I've really touched, I'm not a coach because I organize all the program, but I could have a chance to introduce what Ignite Initiative and also receive the feedbacks and have a conversation with the coachee who for the first time being coached through this Ignite Initiative program. There's so much stories really moved my heart. And then I want to introduce one story with one client. She is a counselor working for the women's right, women labor's right. They work really hard, but nobody heard their story. So really struggle with burnout and then after coaching sessions, 6 sessions, they changed their mind and they felt there is someone who support me as well. They are in the position always serving for other people and support other people. But through this coaching, they have someone who is a partner with them and support their mission and their purpose on their work. So when I talked with her, I felt, oh, this journey is really meaningful. So I need to expand, impact more through these Ignite initiatives. So these small stories these collective stories made me look forward and go forward, launching Ignite initiative for the first time in South Korea.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, what I'm hearing you say is that it's not just a coaching program, it's so much more. It's a confidence booster. It's that space where someone recognizes that, yes, even I have someone to listen to me too. I have someone who's got my back in many ways. So wonderful, and thank you for sharing that. Yes, love to hear your story. Sabrina, if maybe you could go next.
Yes, absolutely. So just to keep the privacy of the client, I'm going to name her Mary. So Mary, she is a director of a small U.S. nonprofit that aids refugee families. And Mary has poured her heart into the mission, but she felt invisible. She felt that the exhaustion of bridging those cultures daily were making her team drift apart. The meetings were turning a little tense. And having a conversation with her, I spot that. And as an ambassador, our job is sometimes also to connect those nonprofits with the chapters, the ICF chapters, with the intention to have them linked to the Ignite program. So I made the connection, and a couple months later, I just checked in with Mary to see how things were going. And she shared that a volunteer coach gave her the space to breathe. And in one session, she actually shared that she was, in tears because Mary herself had, homesickness. And she could understand now what her team was going through. Like, it was a moment of awareness that allowed her to understand what her team and the people that they serve, right? So she started from that point rebuilding a trust with simple check-ins with the team. And, after 6 months, the changes were profound. The disconnection became them, and then now they had a warm unity. She was embracing more delegation to others in her team because she felt that she could trust them more. And with that, they start preventing burnout, right? She gained confidence, and so did the team, because now they could see that she was trusting in them. It was amazing. And I remember that she emailed me saying that without this support, she would stay quiet, and perhaps the turnover and the stalled dreams would continue. So coaching, turned struggle into a heartfelt, unstoppable force of equity. And that, for me, it's why we do what we do. It warms my heart and it refines my role. Right? These connections, they heal and they ignite lasting good.
Wonderful, just wonderful to hear, and the intentional reach out and just being there and asking questions and just placing our hands on people's shoulders at times and say, what's happening. That itself can just outpour so much of awareness, like you shared in your wonderful story. Thank you for bringing that to us. And yes, Catalin, over to you. What do you have for us?
Yeah, I could resonate with the stories of Sabrina and Danun, and probably I will tell a similar one. And a story that moved me the other day, I just heard a news about a non-profit organization. And the news was about a new project. And they are targeting social housing and social poverty. And they just renovated an old school building and turned into apartments, 30 apartments. And they supported people who lost homes or never had homes. And this is their mission. And this was so heartwarming for me because it reminded me 3 years back when we worked with this organization within an Ignite project. And my role was just sending out a connection email for a nonprofit leader to a coach. And actually, we piloted team coaching with this organization. They were just one of the 50 organization, and in the past 3 years, they became visible. So I could hear a lot of news like that. They could reach tremendous results. They could involve a lot of volunteers, and they could raise a lot of funding to be able to do this type of projects. And my learning is that a seemingly unreachable target or social development goal like poverty, no poverty, what could we do? It seems so far and so big. And just a small contribution, a small step you can do, even sending an email or coaching a nonprofit client, that can matter and that can have an effect in the long run. And what you can do, what you can influence at that moment, can have a ripple effect. And I think Ignite is great because we can generate this ripple effect through regions and through projects and connect coaches and clients.
Thank you. Thank you, all of you. I think we've had a great start to this conversation, just the in-depth, on-ground impact work that all of us are putting. And I'm not just saying all of us for the four of us, I'm saying every coach globally that is a part, either has been a part or is an active part in this space of coaching and taking coaching to the not-for-profit leaders, their beneficiaries, and people who are so much more overwhelmed with what they need to manage, so much more under pressure every day, in fact. So love the space that you all have created. Thank you so much. Now, I would say behind every success story is a reality we often underestimate. So we're going to shift gears and move to the next section where, Catalin, maybe I'd love to begin with you. And I'd love to hear, what are the invisible challenges nonprofit leaders face in your region, in the geographical region where you've done your work, that most people underestimate or are not even aware about?
I think there can be similar challenges as well across regions within the nonprofit sector, like the burnout dynamics you mentioned already, because these organizations are mission-driven and value-driven, and this is their main focus, and they deal with a lot of emotional work. And that can be something that's similar. And probably what can be different in Europe, we have really a lot of languages, cultures, diverse environment. And because we are so diverse, it can be a lot of complexity in a lot of terms. For example, in our eastern border, we have a crisis, we have a war for more than 4 years. And the other part, there are economies and countries that are relatively progressing and developing, and the focus is so different. So if you are in a survival mode, in a crisis, you put the focus on different things than probably you can put in the other part of the region. And also the complexity can come from the regulations, the different systems in tax systems or privacy rights, GDPR. So we have to somehow cooperate, and these organizations should cope with this complexity on local level as well. So I would emphasize as something probably different than within other regions.
No, yeah. While it could be similar to a few of the things that you've said, but just the environment in terms of what you shared around the region itself not being stable in terms of peace and so much going on, and to be able to continue the work around that space is just so meaningful and wonderful. So thank you for sharing that with us. And to move forward, Sabrina, I have a question for you. What shifts did you see in leaders who've been a part of this 6 months structured Ignite coaching program around how it impacted their mindset, behavior, and confidence once they've gone through this coaching program of 6 months?
Yeah. One of the things that I see most is the confidence. We see the boost in their confidence, and that's amazing. You mentioned before that there is a high rate of burnout, and how Kathleen was saying, everyone that is in a nonprofit, they come with, because they have a mission, they have a vision. It's usually aligned to their values, and there are so many struggles that they go through. So that erodes their confidence, and having the opportunity to be in a place where they feel seen, heard, and understood, that's really important for them. So this is one thing that I, across the board, that's what I see. But especially with the people that I work, what I see more is the delegation, to feel that they can trust other people and to delegate more. That also, take the pressure off their shoulders, and that helps with the burnout. And I see like resilience also. Like I think with the confidence, there's that boost of resilience as well, that, the ability to bounce back, because we know that nonprofits are going through a lot, especially those ones that are helping right now immigrants. There's a lack of staffing, there is lack of funding, right? So in the midst of all that, there's culture shock, and we're dealing with people's lives and dreams. So yeah, I see that the resilience also, it's a piece that is being boosted, and I just love seeing that. And you ask about the mindset. So just to close my answer, I think it goes from survival to thriving.
Survival to thriving. Loved how you put that. And I also appreciate you said, bounce back. And to me, the way that I would put it is the coaching work that we do in this space of not-for-profits. I think we're more than bounce back. We're supporting them to bounce forward, with resilience, like you said. It's so important for them to continue their journey forward on a strong footing. And that's where the mindset and the bigger picture that they're serving to, and the coaching as an amplifier to bounce forward. So I would say let's support them to bounce forward in addition to bouncing back. Thank you so much. Down question for you, please. If there is one challenge you really wish the world understood better about grassroots leadership, what they do, what they experience, what real life is for them every day, what would that be for you?
I think the world and our system tends to value leadership that is really loud or fast and easy to measure. But grassroots leadership is different. It results that are sometimes really slow and collective and deeply human. I think understanding this difference is really important for us and the world. So how do you measure trust? How do you quantify prevention, care, or resilience? I met so many nonprofit leaders and activists, and then these impacts are really hard to see. And in nonprofit sector, they need to do more, scale fast, or prove their value in ways that don't reflect their reality. Sometimes we ignore it because they carry their responsibility without authority. They push their mission without resources, and they have value and purpose, but without recognition. So what I've learned from this experience, nonprofit leaders, is that one of the most powerful intervention is not strategy, it's recognition. When we show them as a mirror their value, mission, and their purpose, they can shine themselves and they can bring more impact. That's what I experienced and witnessed.
Thank you for calling that out. Everything that you've shared down, we had a comment from the audience that that was inspirational, because that's the real core value of the work that's happening on ground. And I'm taking a moment here to just call out Kathleen, if she's there in the audience. We all know her. She's been such a strong pillar in the ICF Foundation world, and has held the space of Ignite and the global projects that we do so beautifully well. So while Kathleen, you're calling credits for us, we all of us owe a huge thank you to the work that you've done. So thank you so much for making time and putting this comment for us. Appreciate it. All right, so we're doing good with time and moving to a segment which we'd love to call like a quick rapid fire, if that is okay with you. And this is where probably, the Ignite kind of meets the science behind it in your own words of what it is. So another round robin, and maybe we could go with Catalin, Sabrina, and then down last. The first question is, I don't have a lot many, but yes, the first one is, if you had to describe Ignite's impact in one word, what word would you choose and why?
So it's very difficult to put just into one word. If I must choose, I would choose empowerment. And if I can choose a phrase, not just a word, I would say your contribution matters, because probably it's connected to the first story I mentioned. A seemingly unachievable big goals can be broken into small steps, and your contribution can add to the end result.
Absolutely. Well said. Thank you. Sabrina.
Okay, so for me, I can't use empowerment, right? It's already taken. Joking. I think unity. Yeah, my word would be unity. I think Ignite, what we do, we have these nonprofits, we have the ICF Foundation, right? We have the ICF chapters, and then we have the coaches. Like, we are weaving all these divides, all these different people into a shared strength, right? And then we do this in a way that we have this harmonious forces driving, equity and poverty relief, and we see beautiful stories coming out of that. So I think it's unity.
Thank you.
My word is connection. The nonprofit leaders, they can connect themselves again, connect their mission and purpose, their community with their colleagues. And also, I want to mention that the coaches, Ignite coaches, they connect to the nonprofit leaders and society. One day I received a comment from one of the coaches, and then she said, it's a really good opportunity being a part as an Ignite coach, because I recognize our society and the nonprofit leaders who really push their heart and their effort to build a better society. So I think it's really, really beautiful words.
Lovely. I think all the three words put together make such a powerful tagline in itself. So thank you for sharing. I'll go to my next question. What is the one message you would want every coach in the world to remember about social impact coaching? And maybe not just the coach, any audience that's listening in, anyone who's passionate and enthusiastic towards his heart lying in giving back to the society and doing good for the world. I mean, the truth is that we happen to be in a broken world where there's a lot of things that are not right. But in all of that put together, what is the one message you would want everyone in the world to remember about social impact coaching and the work that all three of you have been doing? Maybe Kathleen, Sabrina, and down in that order.
Yeah, it's again connected to my previous thought. Probably search the small step you can do tomorrow or next week, what you can do and how you can join to this initiative, but what you can do as a coach. There are a lot of programs, so just connect your local chapter and ask what you can do, how you can contribute.
Yes, always begins by you asking.
Yeah.
Asking and being curious, and like I said, that heart, which is to serve the society. So thank you for saying that. Appreciate it. And of course, ICF Foundation Ignite, anyone can go to our website. You could leave your comments and pass on links for people to directly join. We keep promoting that in the Delhi chapter through which this program and this conversation is being put together. We've created a cell that is called the Circle of Trust. And in that, we have 50 plus coaches who've put up their hands and said, we are here. You bring on projects, doesn't matter what the space, what the language, what the culture, what the background, as long as there is an organization there that feels we can add value to their leadership team and help them amplify the impact that they're having in their organization and the end beneficiaries that they're serving, we're all good. So I love the fact that you said, ask. Thank you.
Okay, so for me, I constantly answer the same thing because I believe that every time that we have someone in front of us as coaches, we should have in the back of our minds that thought: how many people are we impacting? Communities, societies, and it's one person, but that person will go back to a home, to a workplace, and a community. Right? So by helping that person, how many more I'm helping? And that helps us to see the magnitude of the work that we do. And I think that gives us that. It's not to put pressure on our shoulders, the opposite. It's to give us that desire to do more of it and to do well and to honor the person in front of us.
Thank you.
I think I'm echoing Sabrina and Kathleen. There's a space to wait for you, Ignite Initiative. You can connect with social, our society, bring so much more impact. So door is just open.
Thank you so much. And that's a strong, unified voice to really encourage and inspire people to step up and really join the movement. And it's all together of how a ripple effect is created. And it's just one drop in the water, and then you've got these ripples and circles that expand, and covers the entire space that the water is present. So it's as powerful as that. So with that, we're in a section where we've heard, so what we've heard today is 3 continents, 3 stories, 3 truths, and one unmistakable pattern, which is coaching truly expands human possibility. So Ignite is not so much more about charity work or we're doing it for any other reason, but it's primarily around capacity building. It's really about leadership development. It's truly about taking that power of coaching to a segment, which I think all four of us at least would agree, and most of us on the call would agree, to a space where coaching is needed the most. So together, I think all of us, our endeavor, efforts, and intent and commitment is that we're building a leadership where the world needs it the most, in communities that hold the future of humanity. That's where the real power is. I think that's the space where the future of humanity is really there. So thank you to all of you for bringing in that wonderful space of conversation and just picking up a few questions from the audience. One of the questions is, let me try and pull that up. All right. So maybe any one of you can pick this up, but the question is, what is one inner shift you've seen in not-for-profit leaders through coaching that surprised you the most? So I'll repeat that question. What is one inner shift you've seen in not-for-profit leaders through coaching that has surprised you the most?
Can I take that one?
Absolutely, please.
It's just because it's so recent. I was really surprised. Yeah, someone just mentioned, I've been looking at the whole world with my own bias, like my own culture biases. I thought that everybody thought like me, behaved like me, and dealt with problems like I do. That's not like that, right? I was like, ta-da! That was amazing. It wasn't like one moment in a shift. And from there, everything changed. Oh, probably that person is trying to say this or is trying to do this way because this is how they've been doing their whole life because they come from a different culture background. And I'm seeing as wrong, but it's actually not wrong. It's just different. So that was amazing.
Does anything show up for Kathleen, you and Down you?
Yeah, I can mention another one. It was about kind of systemic change in a group, because one person felt she cannot change that dynamics because it's present in the system, and what can she do? And when she realized, oh, I can change something in my behavior, not the system, but something small, and the reaction will be different. And that changed the whole dynamic in the team. And it was, how could it be? How could I have an effect like that? I mean, the client. And it was a real big shift.
Perfect. I'll put up the next question from Garima, who's asking that if one nonprofit leader listening today takes a courageous step after this conversation from all three of you, what would you hope that step would be? Down, you want to take a shot at this?
I want to share
Great question.
because I met one nonprofit leader. He was stuck in his own pattern, and his colleague maybe point out in the past several times, but it didn't really land when the peer pointed out. But when a coach named it, that time finally he aware that, oh my God. So I want to share this one story. And then from that question, mine was asking help. Nonprofit leaders, they put so much responsibility and they tend to handle on themselves. But asking help is a first step to move forward.
Wonderful. Any one of you would like to add, or if not, I can take the next question. Sabrina, you'll have to unmute. We can't hear you.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I was saying, I think that's an amazing answer. Thank you. Yes, ask for help, and we are here to help. So ICF Foundation, or connect with one of us ambassadors. Yes, we are here to help, and we really want to help you.
Perfect. Thank you. Here's another question from Dia Thakur, who's asking us, what can we do as a coaching community to spread even more awareness of the impact coaching can make in this sector?
I would mention, if I can take this question, I would mention the coaching report that was just released a few weeks ago, and about ICF Foundation. And there are figures, there are stories, there are real examples how we can measure the effect and what can be changed in the social sector. So I think it's a good starting point to spread the message and just deliver to the non-profit leaders that they can see, they can participate in these projects, and they can have real effect. They can hear real stories.
Yeah, I think experiencing, just to having that willingness to experience and say, okay, what can go wrong? Let's partner. And we've got ICF's credentialed, certified, trained coaches, and I'm emphasizing on that because all of us know it's not easy. There's an hours of coaching. There's this lot of things behind being proudly able to say that I'm an ICF certified coach. So there's a lot of background, and all coaches are equipped and empowered to be able to make such a meaningful contribution. So thank you for that. I'll put up another question here, which I find is very interesting. Thank you, Dia, for your question. It says, what does coaching protect leaders from when the work gets heavy? That's got all of us thinking, so I'll wait. Who wants to go for it?
I can say a few examples from my experience. They can develop inner coping mechanism, for example, when the burden comes. And this can be even just a place for ventilation and relieving this burden. Coaching space can be a space for that, but also finding their inner resources to respond, either crises, burnout dynamics, and anything. They would like to find their inner response and inner next steps.
Thank you. So Kathleen, what I hear you say is, in the journey and experience of coaching, for a leader, it can protect me to just be able to look inwards. We're in so much of hurry. There's so many things to be done, so much to take care of. Just the coaching space where you can declutter, put the rest of the world outside, and pause, go deeper within yourself and see, what am I seeing? What am I looking at? What am I hearing? What am I listening as I look at my inward self, right? Did I understand that correctly?
Yes, absolutely.
Answered that brilliant. Thank you.
I would
Sabrina,
like to add something. Yeah, I was thinking like high turnovers and reactive decision making. Right? They come to the coach and then they can talk. They can actually have a space where they are not pressured to answer immediately to anyone, and they can, think. They can process everything, and then make an informed decision. So the safe space to think before reacting, but that it's almost like a ripple effect, right? Because if you are a reactive leader, that means people will not be happy working with you, and there's the high turnover, and there's the worst, right? That is the mission failure. Like coaching prevents you from failing at your mission, like something that you dedicate your life to, right? Sometimes you put hours, you sacrifice time with your family and friends, because you love what you do, and failing at that must be hard. So coming to coaching will prevent you from that.
absolutely well said. Dawn, you'd like to add? Oh, wait.
Yeah, I think coaching protects leaders from that isolation because it's difficult to share
Hmm.
their struggling to others. So it's giving them a thought partner who can really support without any judgment and with, of course, care and support. So coaching is really help them in that situation.
Brilliantly said, and I think very real, very real. And I was not able to pull this up, but that question that we came up first came from Aditi. So just thank you, Aditi, for putting that question, and I hope all our great speakers address that. So with keeping time in mind, um, a huge thank you to each one of you, really, truly. Also, a huge thank you to ICF Delhi chapter and the entire team that has allowed us to put this together with the president, Debashi, who's spearheading and is a great support for this work. Also, I'm so glad that 3 months working on this together, we finally come face to face and had this beautiful thread that we've woven across the entire last 45 minutes. So a heartfelt thank you to you, each one of you, and just any quick last parting words. So we have Vanita who's saying, very true. The further one grows, the further they become lonely. So that's to your point, Down. And we have Thea that's saying that's beautiful. Thank you, Thea. Thank you, Vanita. Any last one word? Otherwise, we're good to close. And huge thank you. Appreciate your time, value your intent, effort, commitment. We're all in different zones. We're all in different time zones, different part of the world. But thank you, Sabrina. Thank you, Catalin. And thank you, Down.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you for the invitation, Kenneth.
Thank you for invitation.
Most welcome. So I'm going to close with that. Thank you to the entire audience who were patiently listening to us. And I'm hopeful that we've been able to add value to each one of them. So thank you once again. Signing off.